are going to make a session, maybe it's like a masterclass, I don't know, some practical work. I'm going to share with you some theoretical parts, and after that, we're going to develop a dashboard where we're going to structure it, and all of you is going to be some kind of a dashboard designer today. So I hope you'll like it session, and let's try it out. So, as Maria said, I'm a really vivid datarization guy. I don't know, I really like datarization. And I used to be a head of BI in Yandex.Go, and we had quite I don't know, a big, or maybe I would say enormous amount of dashboards and business users who was using it. It's about 3,000 business users. Nowadays, I believe it's even more, and about 600 dashboards. So we created this system for the 3 years, and through these years, we just found out the best way to deal with dashboards in terms of how to gather business requirements, how to find out what business users needs, and so on. So that's why I decided to create some framework. I believe everyone who is professional in some field like to create some kind of a framework or something like that. So I also decided to create one. I called it Dashboard Canvas, and it's mostly some kind of a maybe replica or something similar to business model canvas. Have you heard about one? That was created by Osterwald. And it's just a clear idea that when you're doing something, it's better to do it in some structured way and to structure your thoughts in a visual way. So mostly the thing we're going to discuss, it's this tiny blank piece of, I don't know, piece of something. And we're going to fill in out this dashboard canvas, and it's a really simple tool. I don't want to think about it like a magic wand or some Excalibur or I don't know, silver bullet. It's just a way to structure your thoughts. It's just a way to structure the information you gathered from a business user, and it allows you not to forget something during the process of creating dashboards. So it's just a reminder and a structured way. But let's start not with the canvas itself, but the algorithm that is used alongside this canvas. And it consists of, I don't know, maybe 8 steps. Yeah, that's right, 8 steps. And just let's go through it. But first of all, I'd like to ask all of you, maybe you have any thoughts. How do you expect to develop dashboards? I mean, for example, if you have such experience, or if you don't have such experience, but maybe you expect that that's done in some way, how would you describe the process of dashboard development? Any hands? You can just turn your mic on and speak loud.
Okay, so maybe we should have approximate plan of how and which graphical visualization we should provide for I don't know, for business or for any other requirements. Then we should have like a briefly understanding of the data and all the context, and then we conduct graphs and place them in the most I don't know, efficient and great way.
Okay, but where do you get ideas? What kind of graphs do you need?
From the firstly from the business requirements. I guess sometimes people just say what they want, and also you should have like general understanding of the most relevant graphics for the data you observe or you have, maybe.
So you're suggesting something like you have a database, you just wrangling around it and just seeing what is inside the data. And sometimes you have a business user that says, oh, we have something issue, we'd like to have a dashboard on it. And you just know that such kind of data is represented well with such types of graphs. And so let's place them on one page and it's going to be a dashboard. Am I correct? Did I get you right?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. It sounds quite okay. I mean, it's also structured, but to be honest, I would, and we are going to discuss it today, that the data itself is not going to tell you what it should be. Sometimes when we need to create really analytical tool, something new, something like, I don't know, we are exploring something, genomes of bacteria or something like that. Sometimes it's just data says that it wants to be structured and visualized, but it's really the case of business. And usually in business environment, we have such internal customers, business users, who have some issues or have some task to do, and we as analysts help them to do so. So, and the first really step, as you said, sometimes business users ask for some business requirements, but if they don't do so, the first task you should do and to prepare for interview and to really conduct an interview with your business users. It's because even you a super pooper duper cool analyst, you never know what business needs. It's because from the side of the data analysis, sometimes you can dig in, I don't know, some minor issues or some, I don't know, really complex problem. But on the business side, sometimes you just need to figure a number of, I don't know, a number of orders they made last week and just a graph of it. And it really helps them to track the goal and so on. So first of all, the first is to create an interview, to prepare for this interview, and to conduct the interview. And today we are going to mock up this interview. You are going all try to ask me. I'm going to be your business user, and you're going to ask me what what do I need, and we will try to make a mock up. So the first step is prepare interview and conduct the interview, and it's really simple steps. On the one hand, I have a list of suggested questions. Today you can use them. By the way, I'll share the link with you as a moment you need one. But now let's go for that. So there is a list of suggested interview questions. Usually they are quite standard, quite okay to use them all the time. You are creating a dashboard, but also you should check all of them, understand what they're meaning for you, and also you should be aware that sometimes you have something particular that something really, I don't know. Oh my gosh, the word flew off my head. Okay, something that's related only for your industry or for your field and something like that. So the point is, for example, in banking, I used to work in bank also, you should always ask what is regulated by law. So for example, sometimes in other industries, not a usual question, but for example, in the bank, you really just had to ask how do we regulate it in terms of financial law and so on. So if you have such, don't know, something very special about your area, you should also consider these questions, but mostly it's something like that. The structure of the question is the following. We're just asking, describe your unit, how business unit works, how do you understand what you works well. So it's really, I would say, the most important question, just because sometimes people just don't understand how to measure their work. So the next question is more deep, and you ask, how do you change this metrics? So, okay, you measure orders, but how do you influence the orders, amount of orders, and so on? So then it's general questions, and the most, I would say, frequent mistake that analysts do, they consider that they know it already. Just because as an analyst, you are working with data, especially if you're working with, I don't know, with people who are already your buddies, you're going with them on a lunch and something like stuff, you consider that you understand the business. But it's always a good idea to really ensure yourself that you understand it's correct. And that's why it's a good idea to ask people. It could be really silly. You're just asking your, I don't know, coworker or friend, what are you fucking doing? I'm sorry. So, and they are just like, and sometimes you understand that you didn't get the business process correctly. So it's really funny, but it's really worth to do. So after that, we are continuing to do with dashboards, and we mostly working with what dashboard do you want, how do you close to them. It's mostly UX questions. So what context are you using? Do you need it mobile? Do you need it on your own laptop? Are you going to use it in meeting rooms and so on? And in the end, you just say asking about data. So what data do you have? Is it available and so on? And in the end, you're asking what did you forget to ask? So the question is quite simple, but if maybe you have any questions for me about this list, you can ask me. But the question itself, it's not a big deal, just because usually if you type something like business requirements questions, something like that, you will get some list of them. But also it's, I would say, an art of providing interview. And there is a bunch of advice I have for you, just because it seems that providing interview, it's quite easy on the one hand, just because you're just talking generally. But on the other hand, it's at least you try it once. It's never so easy as you would expect, just because always the business users starting to, I don't know, to digging some details, or they're asking when it's done, something like that. So you should be quite, on the one hand, firm, on the other hand, really agile to adjust the interview during the questions during the interview and so on. So the main suggestions, they're also nothing, I don't know, miracles, but just prepare a plan, be sure that you understand what you're going to do. I don't know, schedule a meeting, schedule a meeting room if you need one, and so on. The second advice is just use a questionnaire format. For example, if you have such questions, but I don't know, you don't have a place that you're going to write down the answers, it's not a good idea. So prepare something like Google Doc, Notion page, something like that. There's the questions are already listed, and you just need to fulfill them. Conduct the interview in pairs if it's possible. So sometimes when you're speaking with a business user, it's better to do it in a pair, just because the one person could ask questions and I mean, control it and guide the business user through the interview. And the other one is going to just write it down, just because it's two quite different tasks, and you're not going to be able to do it in one person. So I would suggest, if you're going to provide an interview in one person, so then use something recording or just record a Zoom meeting if it's in line, so something like that. The next advice is also could be maybe a bit, don't know, silly, but listen, don't press on the person. Just try to ask questions, don't comment, don't rule on the meeting, just because sometimes analysts, they are quite, I don't know, they think that they are more clever than business users. And that's why they are trying to use, I don't know, something, some complex words, some, I don't know, terminology and stuff like that. So, and sometimes business users feel uncomfortable with that. So just try to do it easy, and don't be easy on business users. The next advice and idea during the interview, just rephrase and phrase and use indirect approach. It means then a business user tells you something, just in order to understand that you're on the same page, just talk the same thing back to him or her, but using different words. For example, if you're asking what are you using as a KPIs for your business unit, the user says, I don't know, we are using monthly plans that are created with our financial department, and you just redirect the same things. So you mean that the financial guy, John, is preparing monthly plans and you send it by email and something like that. And they say yes. So it means you understood what they said correctly, and it's okay to be shown that. And also, for example, sometimes you should use indirect approach. It's more not about repeating, but it's more about I don't know, to get the information you need. For example, if you ask a person, how do you measure your work? And the person just, well, we are not measuring it. We do our work well. Why do you asking it about it? And you should say, Oh, okay, but how do you get your bonuses? On what? How do your bosses measuring your work? And they can answer something like, oh yeah, we have bonuses that are tied to amount of orders we sell. So that's why you get the metric. Also, could sounds a bit silly, but it's really in real life it happens a lot. Don't ask too many questions. For example, the length of the interview should be, I don't know, an hour, maybe an hour and a half at most. So an hour is a good length. And just divide this amount of time by number of questions. So it's about, I don't know, 6 to 8 minutes for each question, and try to just quite short. So if you will need some clarifying or maybe digging afterwards, you can do it offline. Just during the interview, it's the main idea to get the whole picture, not to dig into some details. And it's really also frequent mistake just at the side of the analyst and the side of the business user. Just because we love numbers and just because we love to talk about our business, we really dig in something and just spend all the meeting on it. That's not a good idea. So, and also use Columbo tactics. I don't know if you're familiar with this TV series. Columbo was a quite nice detective, and he also always looked really maybe clumsy, not so maybe he wanted to look maybe not so smart as he was. So and you should use the same approach. Even if you understand the business really well and better than business user, you should not show it, just because if you do so, it's going to be uncomfortable for business user who he or she's going to shut up and wouldn't tell you anything. So in this approach, just try to be gentle, just try to use, I don't know, simple words and something like that. And last but not the least, after you provided an interview, just take minutes of the interview and write your comments afterwards. Just send it to a person and say, okay, did I get it correctly? In order to he or she just know, okay, is it or not. So it was the main idea. I understand that maybe it sounds theoretical, but in real life, it's really important, and I'm going to try to play. So I think you will feel it on the skin. So you'll be able. After you get the interview, you get the answers to all of the questions, you should fill in the canvas. And the main idea of the filling the canvas is just to structure the information you got. And it's really simple nowadays. I had a couple of versions of dashboard canvas, and nowadays I finalize it in quite simple way. It also has 4 blocks. The first one, you should provide the users at the context. Users, it could be business roles, it could be just the plain names if you are dealing with some small team, and also context of using. Context of using means on which device they're going to use the dashboard, so I don't know, mobile or just a desktop, and also some maybe time restrictions. For example, some dashboards are used every day, some dashboards are used once a month, and it's going to influence your design decisions whenever it's used frequently or not, for example. The second part is goal understanding, and it's quite bold one. It's just to rewrite the main goal of the dashboard in a coherent and small way. So the idea is just to make sure that you are on the same page with the business user. And it's really, then you try to do it coherent in, I don't know, in a couple of words. It creates a clear understanding of you, for yourself about what you're going to do. The third block is about metrics and dimensions. It's about really about what data do you have and what metrics do you have and what dimensions do you have, just a list of them. When you have all of this stuff, you can go into fill in the most important part of this canvas. It's questions and actions. So you just list the questions the business users have in mind, and he or she opens the dashboard. And that's why you should just list them. And on the one hand, it sounds easy, but on the other hand, if you can got all of the questions that are in mind of the business user, you almost created a dashboard. So it's It's sounds easy, but hard to do. So also you should not only mention questions, but also actions that are taken after these questions are answered. For example, if we are, I don't know, marketing manager or marketing analyst, and we are looking for the dashboard, and we found out some, I don't know, some marketing campaigns that are not profitable, and they're just decreasing our profit. And the next step you're going to do, you're going to go to some marketing platform, and you're going to cancel these campaigns. So the main idea that if you have such action, it would be a good idea to place a link in a dashboard to your marketing system, and you can do so. When we have questions, for each question, we should provide the type of quiz we are going to use. Not the exactly design, but just type: bar chart, line chart, pie chart, something like that, a table, and so on. So when we have all of the quizzes, we go create wireframe, and that's how we have a layout of our dashboard. Let's look at an example. I just show you briefly. I think you can relate all to this example. It's just an example of restaurant. For example, just imagine yourself an owner of restaurant. I don't know, I think it's quite, at least for me, it's quite applying idea that you have a restaurant, stuff like that, and you need a dashboard. So who are going to use this dashboard? It's free users, it's owner of the restaurant, it's chief who are preparing food and stuff, and flow manager who are controlling the flow. So the goal of the dashboard could be just like see overall picture of what's going on. And for example, we are living in some, I don't know, time frame that they are considered for the last 8 weeks, just because it's sounds quite reasonable for a restaurant. It's longer periods, it's maybe not so relevant. And so the main idea is set. Now we can just list the metrics and dimensions we are going to use, like gross margin value, profit, customer satisfaction, and time to eat time, and just the dimensions we are going to use. When we have it, we can create some questions, like, for example, what was the GMV for the last week? What was the profit dynamics? Or not, we should change it to GMV as well. GMV. So, and such stuff. So just simple questions, and also just a simple way to show how we are going to show it, like KPIs, like, I don't know, line charts, spark lines, tables, and so on. These quizzes you can use to create a wireframe. Oh, I haven't translated. Wireframe. Oh my gosh, you're going to see that I'm really bad in spelling. No, it's not this way. Okay, never mind, I'll check it. So when we have this list of authorization, we can put it on one place, just to place it on one page, something like that. And it is not a dashboard itself. It's just understanding which chart is going to be placed there, and what metrics are going to be used. We are going also to create such one thing, and I have prepared some kind of a wireframe builder for you. So it's a list of charts that are divided by its purpose. For example, if you need to compare something, you have a bar chart. If you want to show change in time, you have line charts, and so on. So that's the main idea, that you just creating a wireframe. Oops. Here we go. So when you have a wireframe, you just should approve this wireframe with the business user. And also the quite frequent mistake I see that people neglect this step. They just not creating wireframe, they just go ahead and create a dashboard or some prototype dashboard in a BI tool. And the problem that then they show this to the customers, they are more concerned not about the general idea, they concerned more about data, they're concerned about more UX problem, what colors means, what I don't know, how it's structured, and so on. And the main idea of a wireframe is to help you with approve and to be on the same page with the business users on a general concept. What charts are we going to use? What metrics are we going to use? And so on. So, and if you show in prototype, it's going to be ruined. That's why wireframing is really important, and you should create wireframe and approve on wireframe, not on a prototype. If it's approved, or usually it's approved with some, I don't know, with some changes from a business side, you develop a prototype. So now you're going to a BI system, BI tool, and you just create it. So no fancy stuff here. You just need to know your BI tool, and you're just creating it. After you create the dashboard itself, you are providing a demo. It's also a very crucial, important step of the developing dashboard. You just should gather all of your business users, just show them the dashboards, show the ropes, how it works, what data, and so on. So also it's a good idea to provide some testing or maybe quality assurance on the data if you need one. And after that, you are coming to conclusions and you measure the result of your dashboard. It's a funny way that usually analysts are not so concerned about metrics for the dashboard. I mean, they just create a dashboard. Okay, I created the dashboard. It's a result. No, it's not the result. The result of the dashboard, then it's used. So you should try to understand whenever it was used. You also can provide some questionnaire about how it's liked by your business users or not, and so on. So you should evaluate how your dashboard works, and don't forget about it, and try to apply analyst approach to it. So mostly that's it. We briefly looked through that, and for example, in this case, then it was in the process of interview, creating a dashboard canvas, creating a wireframe, and after it was creating a really nice, I don't know, dashboard in data lens. It was about cafe di data, I called it so. So we can understand how it was created. So do you have any questions on a dashboard canvas and algorithm itself? Maybe you have anything to mention, or maybe you just, oh, what's going on? It's so theoretical. Let's do some work. So let me know your things. Or maybe you can relate some of your previous experience. Have you done such structural approach in your work?
Yeah, probably we understood the information. It was clear.
Okay, nice. By the way, do you hear me well? Just because sometimes I see them freezing on the screen and it shows that my connection is good.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay, nice. Okay, so okay, any other comments, guys? Just because I want to make some discussions. And to be honest, I don't know, maybe some of you have already worked with some dashboard. It would be nice to reflect on your process. For example, yeah, we did the same, or no, we didn't the same, and we came across some problems and so on. Even if it is a project within your study. Okay.
Could you please, Roman, could you please repeat the question, because something was wrong with your connection?
Okay. I just want you guys to relate to this process. If you had such experience, Marie, for sure you had one. Maybe you can share your experience. What kind of mistakes or obstacles you get during the process of creating dashboards, maybe that are addressed in this canvas, or maybe you have anything to add? What value do you see or don't see in this approach?
Well, in my experience, sometimes I have misunderstandings with my colleagues, and I understand that during the interview, you should be clear about understanding each other, and sometimes you have to meet each other more than one time. So my point here is to be clear about discussions.
Okay. And do you have such structured approach with the questions, or you just, for example, when you provide an interview with business customer, do you is it going well every time you have it, or sometimes it's, I don't know, going wrong?
Sometimes it's going wrong, but to be honest, I use your dashboard canvas in my work, and I see that it is easier with using this canvas to understand each other. But sometimes, of course, when I already make my dashboard and go to my future user and show him or her my dashboard, during this discussion, when they see the dashboard already, I understand that they want the metrics to see another way. So I go and change my dashboard canvas and change some visualizations.
Okay, I see. So it's also quite okay, just because it's not the point that it's never the way you create the dashboard the first time it's going to accept it, or the wireframe is just it's amount of steps. Because if you do it like you haven't provided an interview, you haven't just created dashboards, and yeah.
Guys, do you hear me? Because something wrong again with the with your voice. Repeat,
Yeah,
please.
there are a little noise.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry guys, it's
just repeat. Now it is good.
okay. Yeah, what is okay, I see that I'm freaking on my camera. Okay. Now am I clear? Yeah. Okay, so I just wanted to repeat that for sure the canvas is not the silver bullet in terms of that you're going to I don't know, rebuild or change something during the discussions, but it's decreased amount of iterations. Just because if you're just create a dashboard and show it's first time for a business user, for sure they're going to, I don't know, to flesh out a lot of mistakes they found, a lot of it want to change the dashboard. That's why this approach really eliminates just amount of iterations, but they are going to be anyway. So I see that Olga and Simeon is also, maybe you guys want something to add?
Yes.
I wanted to share, sorry, Olga, be the first.
No, you can go. That's okay.
Okay. I wanted to share the problem I'm colliding with every time I'm making a dashboard, because this flow you've shown is very structured and looks simple, but when I go to the real life, I collect these all requirements, do somehow canvas, do a prototype of the dashboard, show the business, and the business like, that's good. We want to add this. And after these corrections, I put some data, add something to model, add something to design, correct the visuals. It got better, and we want to add this, and so many iterations. And after thousands of these iterations, the dashboard looks very massive. The data model is absolutely trashy. Maybe there is a way how to limit the requirements, and this is flow of the consciousness and super brain of the business.
Yeah, I can relate to your problems. Yeah, it's really problem that is really I don't know, hard to stop all those requirements that coming in, especially during this approach, and they're trying just to put everything, every metrics, every dimension, and so on. Usually, I would say that it's a problem of designing system of the dashboard, not the dashboard itself, but the system of the dashboards. I have such approach that's called dashboard map, and usually in our practice we deal with it not on a level of a simple on one dashboard, but on a bench of a dashboard that are meeting requirements of maybe not each team, but of requirements of different tasks, just because sometimes people want to create a huge one monster, I don't know, king dashboard that are going to address all of the problems, and it's never so. So it's just impossible to create a dashboard that's going to address all of the problem. I'll share just a sec. I'll share the example of the map. So the point is that it's in my opinion, it's a more high level problem. And for example, just a sec, it's freezing. I am freezing, I think. Okay, the point is that you should not only collect information for your one dashboard, but beforehand you should collect the information of the whole department, of the whole business unit, and to structure the things they have and products they have, and also business process they have. And for each business process, or maybe each control point on each business process, you should provide something in a dashboard. And it's more complex problem, so it's going to take some time. But if you collect all of the business processes you have in a company or your department and so on, you can create a bunch of dashboards, different types. And it usually works well then they are also linked with each other. And if you click in one dashboard, you're going to go through the another one, and you're going to filter data and something like that. So it's good like that. For example, we have an overview dashboard that just supports the general management and the purpose of answering the question how it's going on. We have a self-service dashboard that eliminates us from something stupid questions like I want some data for this particular date, for this particular distributor, and so on. So just an interface for business users to get data, just a bunch of filters, just a table. Okay, guys, you can download it. You can use it in Excel if you want, and so on. It's also an A/B test dashboard. Sometimes it's also used analytical tools, entity dashboards, and such stuff. So if you create such a dashboard system, I think you wouldn't need to place all things in one dashboard. So I would go with this way. But I really can relate to your problem, especially if you're working in some department that are tied to tasks, and especially if I don't know, for example, it's a project and they just try to don't know, to push everything in one project just because they know that they're going to be available on the next project in not as soon as they would like, if we have having it centralized stuff. Yeah, really relevant comment. Thank you very much. And there is no simple answer, but I would go with the dashboard system.
Okay, thank you very much. I got it.
Olga?
Well, I guess that my question is somehow connected with Simon's question because it is about hypothesis testing. Basically, we get the raw data, and first thing that we need to do, one of the major things, is to set hypotheses in order to check them. So my question is how to work with them, how to perfectly understand what we need and what we need to include in the dashboard, how we need to represent it, and what we need to get at the end.
Okay. Okay, you know, I'm not. Okay, the first my statement would be the same, the following: the dashboard is not equal to analytics, just because sometimes we are messing with that and we think that our dashboards created for analytical purpose, but in real life, it's really rare occasion, just because dashboards usually are product of analyst works. You already prepared some hypotheses, you tested, I don't know, in Python, you created some Jupyter notebooks and something like that. And then you understand what the problem is. You're creating a dashboard as a presentation for your business user. And I'm not a big fan of this approach just because it leads to creating a lot of dashboards. And for just the purpose of ad hoc analysis, for data analysis, I would consider not to create a dashboard, but to do it in a Python or don't know, maybe even in Excel, it's okay just to get a bunch of data and to do so. So in terms of the first I would mention that the best dashboard to create. So if you ask to create a dashboard, first of all, ask yourself, ask your business user, are you really need a dashboard, or maybe you need just an answer for some problem? So an answer for some problem would be found out really in a different way. The second part was about how to understand which hypothesis to get in work. I'm not a big professional of it, so I'm more the dashboard guy and not data analyst itself. So I would not say anything, I don't know, clever or structured, but maybe in any way I would suggest to get different hypotheses on different levels. For example, if you have something risky, but that could provide a lot of money, it's okay to go with this hypothesis. And also it's a good idea to go with some low-hanging fruits. If you have something maybe not so in monetary terms, not so valuable for company, but you understand it's going to improve it at least for, I don't know, 0.1%. It's also a good idea to go with it, just because this way you're going to show that data analysis works and the business users are going to understand that it's valuable for them. So it's really general answer. I understand it's so, but yeah.
No, that's clear. Yeah, but I also face the problem that we have a huge data set, for instance, for a project, and I mainly work with Python. So I just create data visualization analytics in Collab, and I understand that I've created these graphs, these plots and so on, and the final stage is creating the tableau. And basically that was just the question, do we need Tableau all the time? What do we need to please them? And you actually answered it. Thank you. So it's connected with basically the clients and the business process itself. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, the main idea, dashboards are more reporting tool, are more maybe alerting tool, operational tool. So don't use it all this time. And I understand that it's coming from your business users, but anyway. Okay, so let's move on. Our next part is going to be more practical. I have sent you in a Zoom chat, I sent you a mirror board. It's just for you to find out these questions. So you can just look through the question if you need one. And what's going on? Okay. Do you hear me well? I have some flashes on my screen. It looked strange. Do you hear me well, guys? Sorry, I have some problems.
Right now, yes.
Yeah, okay. So I'm going to be business user, and we will do it this way. We can either choose one person who are going to be data analysts who are providing interview, or we can just, I don't know, have a main guy and a bunch of other data analysts who are going to also ask questions. And your goal now, right now, is going to be ask me questions. I'm going to provide you some information. You try to gather it. And after that, we are going to fill in dashboard canvas and to understand, to create a wireframe for this dashboard and discuss what you did right, what did you wrong. And I'll show you also the prototype I made for this business task. So do we have any volunteer who wants to be the lead and the main data analyst who are asking questions?
Guys, don't be afraid. It's not dangerous.
Physically not, mentally sometimes yes. Okay, I'm joking. Okay, we can do it this way. If you are not going to want to be the one warrior in the field, we can do it just anyone can start asking me anything. and he or she could just continue, or anyone else could continue. So let's imagine this interview. You're going to interview a business user. So I'm glad to meet the huge analyst department. Hi guys, I need a dashboard. What can we do? I need it right now. Tomorrow, the best. That would be the best. So, what do you need from me?
Sorry, could you please repeat the last sentences? Because
I think it's problem with my connection. Yeah.
Yeah.
there were freezes.
Okay, I'll repeat, but I'm sorry for this problem. And the funny thing, it's not about connection, it's about my laptop. I don't know what happened to him, to it. Okay, the main idea that I'm a business user, you are guys a data analyst. I'm here, and I need a dashboard. What do you need from me to create me a dashboard? I need a dashboard, and it would be nice to have it tomorrow. So what do you need from me to create it?
Okay, so do we have like, I don't know, a project, an idea that we need to work on?
Yeah, sure. I'll tell you about the company. You're working in e-commerce. It's some place like, I don't know, Yandex Market or Zone, something like that. And I'm myself from a regional department. I'm a regional manager. And we are dealing with managing regions. And my area of responsibility is to deal with Siberia region. And we need a dashboard to control it. So yeah. If you need anything to clarify more, I'm eager to do so.
Okay, so which problems do you face?
Nowadays we have mostly not maybe problem, but it's not inconvenient. In order to do our work, we had to do manually some data preparation for ourselves. We're using Excel for it. And it would be nice to automate it and form maybe in a dashboard or whenever you say. So we are facing the problem of quite an amount of manual work.
And which data do you collect?
It's mostly orders data. So we have something like, I can show you, Julian, if you'd like. Yeah, it's a good question. Let me show you the structure of the data. So the table is looking like that. It's quite a common orders structure. It's each row in this data is an order, some order. It also has an amount of money it costs. It also has a category for the product what was bought, and so on, and also model name and something like that. And we have the information about who bought it in terms of the region, how it was delivered. We also have some information about order date and delivery date for this order. And I don't know, maybe some also information about on which platform the order was created. Was it prepaid or not prepaid, and so on. So, but the main idea, it's quite the granular data set. It's about orders. So mostly it's orders and all of these dimension of the order.
And which instruments do you use? Excel and that's it?
Yeah, nowadays, unfortunately, you guys don't help us, data analysts, So we just have a Excel spreadsheet. Everybody is downloading it for his or her region. I just download it myself and do manual preparation for the work. So yeah.
Okay, I have a lot of questions, so probably someone can ask.
So maybe you could tell us the processes where you're facing the need of this data.
Yeah, gladly. Mostly, the first process is to understand which products are sells well in my region, and maybe I can create some regional promotion campaigns. So, in the main idea, my goal is to enlarge our amount of sales, and that's why I create something promotions and so on. And it's funny, but we found out that it's quite regional. So for each region, we provide different promotions. And one of my workflow is connected to just to find out which products are the sells well and each category, and to create some promotional campaign. I just create a task for designers, for example, if it is something like a banner or something like it, paid ad. Or sometimes I just, so the first way is just to influence on our site, on side of my marketplace, we create ad promotions. And on the other hand, I can go to our suppliers and to discuss with them, maybe they like to provide some discount or something like that in order to be promoted in this region. So the first part is to dealing with supply and promotions. And the second big part of my work is connected to dealing with customer satisfaction and quality of our works, just because we have a lot of regional franchisee in our region. In each region, we have different suppliers and different franchisee, and we should be assured on the quality of the service and the speed of the service. So the main stuff that users complains with, it's about delivery time. So I am responsible to find out if any delivery company or any franchisee is not so good in terms of delivery time.
So have I got it right? The first one, the first process you're facing the need of this data is dealing with the promo activities and supply. And the second one is analyzing user satisfaction, including service level, and so on.
I would say second one, yeah, you got it right, but also it's about delivery. Delivery time is the most important one. Yeah. Yeah, right.
And maybe can you tell me about the organization of your data? Do you have only one data set, or you somehow divide it into different data sets, tables, in order to work with them?
You say me, I'm business user, to be honest. I'm not sure how it's structured under the hood. As far as I know, it's just a table of orders, and it's a table of plans that are stored independently. Lisa, could you shoot up your microphone, please? Okay, nice. Yeah, Karpov is a great place.
Okay, do we have the set goal, for instance, by what time? What % of increase do we expect? What do we need to have at the end as a final point?
Yeah. I have some goals on whenever I should understand if something bad happened. For example, if we have a decrease more than 20% in orders week over week, so it's alert for me, and I'm going to be punished if something like that happened. So the main and the first KPI for me is to not to get such drops in sales if they are not connected to, I don't know, some beginning of the year or something like that. But mostly, yeah. So the first thing first is not I'm responsible for that orders are flowing well. This is the first one of the KPI, and the second one, as I said, is about delivery time. It should be not more than 3.2 on average. So that's my KPIs.
And what data, well, period do we take? Like monthly, weekly?
We mostly work with the weekly data, but I also try to check it day by day. But nowadays I'm not able to do so, as we have Excel and it's manual work. So I prepare weekly reports nowadays, but it would be nice to have it daily.
And how do you get the information?
Oh, just the guy give me some fancy SQL script. I place it in our I don't know how to call it, in some website, and I got information to download.
Maybe, do you know how well structured data should we pre-process as clean? Or maybe you know some context of the persons in your company who would clarify all these questions?
Let's consider them quite clean. So I think our data engineers prepare them. Data engineers earn so much money, so I think so. They have done it well. Let's assume it so.
Okay. And so maybe what is the deadlines for the dashboards? Do you need prototypes and
I need a dashboard. Whenever you need a prototype or not, you decide. Okay, I would say that as any business user, I would say that I need it tomorrow. But the most crucial thing that we need to start with the season, and we're going to have a holiday season it starts usually from the end of November, from the Black Friday and such stuff. And if we don't have this dashboard until this time, it's going to be really hard to do our work, and we will waste a lot of time and I'm sure money as well.
maybe do you have previous experience regarding the dashboards? Maybe someone already made for you dashboards in the previous, I don't know, years, months, and you can share them and your feedback and evaluation about them.
Sad story. Yeah, we had the dashboard, the pretty dashboard in the Tableau, but nowadays it's not available in Russia. So we switched to Excel, and we are waiting to create this dashboard in DataLens. So we don't have it nowadays. We had I can share with you the previous screenshots, but the problem is that it was created, I don't know, heck, a long time ago, and it didn't contain any information on a product. It was aggregate data, just amount of orders in a week. So, and it was not really helpful in terms of finding out which products we should promote. And also it wasn't, there are no data about delivery time.
And who's mainly... Yeah.
Go, Olga.
Okay, thank you. Who's mainly responsible for the analysis of data? Only you, or maybe you have a team who analyzes the information and makes relevant decisions?
For sure, my team in terms of regional managers. So for each group of regions, we have a dedicated regional manager. So that's why each regional manager is responsible for each region, and they're going to do the same research as I do. And also our general manager, they want to compare our regions, and it's also helpful for myself to compare with other regions, just because if regions are similar to each other, they are placed in some place in one geographical place, or they have approximate similar amount of inhabitants. So it's a good idea to compare our regions, and that's why. So answering your questions, regional managers and the head of regional managers. maybe also some other guys, especially the guys from logistics. Oh yeah, they are also going to use it, just because then I have a problem with delivery time. First of all, I'm going to logistic team and I speak with them, so I suppose they're also going to use it.
So basically we work with different regions and we need also to include the comparison of these regions. Apart from them, maybe you have other requirements for a comparison?
As I mentioned previously, maybe week-over-week comparison and comparison between different categories of products would be nice, but maybe it seems to be that's it. For example, we don't make comparison from a platform or like an app it was done just because I don't care about it. It's more on the product side. So yeah, mainly regions and product categories and time for sure. Yeah.
And the last question, what's your favorite color?
It's a bad question. I mean, I wouldn't. Okay, I wouldn't. I reflects all your. Okay, sorry. It's a blue one. It's a blue one. No. Let's make it funny. It's it's a red one. Red one. Yeah, for sure.
No. Okay, thank you.
Maybe
Okay.
you have.
Go.
Okay, maybe. Thank you. Okay, maybe you have some thoughts or some details which we missed and you want us to include them.
Yeah. By the way, it's a good question. Yeah. I also prepare some kind of detailed extracts of the data for our logistic teams, just because we need to create such a report for them, and it just lists particular orders. Then the delivery time was really long, and they're conducting the analysis and so on. So yeah, it would be nice to have a detailed table on an orders, especially with some filter, or I don't know, maybe just preset with the orders that wasn't delivered within 5 days. Okay, Simon, I think it's your turn. Let's do it more 5 minutes and we'll move on.
Sorry, have I got it right that you don't really need to backdate like a yearly recap of all the orders or trends, or do you really need it?
We are growing quite fast, so the year-over-year comparison is almost not relevant for us. It's just something like 100%, something like that. So nowadays we mostly on week-over-week basis. So.
Okay, got it right. So when you see a bad trend on sellout, sales, or service level, some fails in delivery, what questions do you address to this data? To the data, are you trying to deep dive in categories? In what categories the sales has fallen, or how do you address this question?
Yeah. If I see something wrong with the trend, I'm going first of all creating some factorial analysis. So I'm understanding which category has dropped the most and diving in. And not only in monetary term, not in percentage term, but in the amount of orders, which category has dropped the most. So after that, I understand why it happened so. For example, I'm digging in on a product level, and sometimes I understand that some products, we have a shortage of some products. I don't know, maybe the iPhones are sold out and we don't have them anymore. And then I'm going to logistic team and try to speed up delivery process of the telephones on our logistic center. So something like that. Yeah, mainly. So I mainly analyze categories and products, the first things. And also I compare to other regions. For example, if the drop is in every region, it means I'm quite okay in terms of that it's related not to my region, but maybe it's something terrible happened in all regions.
So I also noticed that you said about out of stock. Shit happens, yes. My assumption that you also need the stocks data. Do you need it? Do you analyze the stock?
It would be nice. It would be nice, but I wouldn't say that it's the main consideration. And just because usually it's more logistics team is responsible for that. So as a regional manager, I don't influence much. I just can, I don't know, run and waving my hands and screaming, we need more iPhones. So that's I have a limited power to influence it. That's why I would say that it would be nice, but it's not necessary.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, guys, do you have any more questions? I unfortunately have another meeting to go, so do we want to clarify something else from me?
I think we'll drop the minutes after this call, and if you have something to clarify, something you don't agree, please tell us. We'll organize another meeting for clarification of the requirements. We'll also work on the kind of prototype, and we'll show you how we see the future dashboard. Thank you very much for answering our questions.
Oh, thank you, guys. Yeah, it really was quite a good experience for me. So thank you and see you. Okay, and the last question: when it's going to be done? When my dashboard is going to be in prod? Okay. Nice question, guys. You did it well, really well. I would like to mention that something you forgot to ask, for example, the context of using it. Maybe I'm on a go, maybe a regional manager, maybe I need it in mobile form just because I'm just going to our suppliers, regional suppliers and talking to them, something like that. So you missed this one. You didn't clarify the context. Or guys, also something like how often do we use it? She asked, but I would also ask, is it going to be used you personally, or maybe you have something meeting with your manager or something like that, just because it also can influence the design of the dashboard. Almost all of you digged in data quite in the first place. And on the one hand, understand why do you want to do so, just because it's easier to understand the business with the data. But on the other hand, I would maybe spend a bit more time on understanding the processes, the routine, how do they measure the goals and KPIs and so on, just because you really dig some data. And it's also a better idea to ask business users about data structure and stuff like that. I understand you that just wanted to find out that, but especially on the first meeting, it's not a big deal how data is stored. Just okay, it's stored in several tables. Okay, it's stored in one big table. That's key. And favorite color? It was a funny question. Yeah, but you can get the answer you don't want to hear. For example, like a red one, just because the red color is really hard to deal with on a dashboard as a main color. So be familiar.
Did I see that it was connected with dashboard? Did I say that it was connected with dashboard?
Okay, yeah, it's fun. Okay. 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 Yeah. Thanks. Let's open something. Okay. So yeah. It was funny. Okay. Okay, so now we're going to fill in the dashboard canvas. I'm just going to share the canvas itself, and you're going to tell me what to fill in. Just give me a sec. So how was it, by the way? Did you feel it like a real one, or it was too not so serious for you. So how do you feel about it? Was it related to your previous experience?
Less nervous, probably.
Yeah, I'm a good guy. It's better with me.
Maybe I would say from my perspective that it felt some kind of serious. So nonetheless, we understood that it was like, I don't know, prototype of this interview situation. Nonetheless, with the interview flow, I think we asked some more or less detailed questions. So, and regarding the experience, I haven't anyone related to the dashboards in such interviews, so I cannot say anything.
Okay.
I think you was too kind for business user. The real one would drop from the meeting.
Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, you should just build a rapport with your business customers. Just go to lunch with them. It's going to be okay. Okay, so I have Canvas opened and we're going to fill it out. So I have Canvas. Also, you can download it from Miroboard if you'd like one. We're just going to fill in this part. So what business users you can list from the, gosh, I need to,
I think it's
to reopen it. So yeah. Okay, can I edit just you see my screen, nice. So what dashboards what users are going to use it?
I think they are regional managers, general manager, and logistics managers.
Okay, nice. Seems to be related. General manager and logistics team. Okay, maybe someone to add something, but I think it's a reasonable list. What context of use are they going to use it? You haven't asked it, so we can, don't know, maybe. So in real life, I would play something like, I don't know, every day. So the first thing you need to consider is about the timing. So how do they often use it? General manager, for example, it could be used 1 week, and it could be used during the meeting. And it's really important just because it means that your dashboard should be quite okay on a big screen. It also means that maybe you shall prepare something like conclusions from the dashboard, just something like, I don't know, every regional manager with the KPIs, are they met or not, something like that. So. Okay, so logistics team, they are going to use it occasionally, just because oh no, my gosh, my spelling is terrible, guys. I'm going to use a lot of, okay. No, okay, occasionally, something like that. How would you describe a main dashboard goal? So let's try to do it coherent, and let's try to understand what do we need. The main idea is not to place every question that I need to be met with business user, but the general state.
I think the general goal of this dashboard is the control of sales, sell-out trends, etc., and control service level of delivery.
Okay, but what would you say about sales control delivery? It's okay that it's really two main business parts of the business process.
In sales, we need to we need to follow the trends and easily find the reason of the things going wrong. I'd say.
What do you mean going wrong?
When trends falls down unexpectedly.
And a decrease of 20%.
Yeah. Spot. I would say to spot decrease more than 20% per week.
Monthly, as far as I remember. No?
Per week. In terms monetary orders, average check.
Monetary in total.
I'm not sure because we haven't clarified this business user. Okay, and delivery?
Not greater than 3.2 days of delivery.
Yeah, so I would say something like, but it's also control. Oh gosh. Oh, average delivery time not more than 3.2 days. Okay.
Maybe it's possible to add regarding the promotion and advertising points which you mentioned.
It would be nice. Yeah. Okay, how do we put it?
So one of the main goal to use dashboard for the promotion of the product, as far as I remember, and to send it to the suppliers, as far as I remember also. And I just forgot the precise numbers, probably.
They don't know precise numbers there.
Maybe to detect regional peculiarities of the demand of any product in any region.
Didn't get you clearly. Could you?
To detect particularly product sold better in any region.
So top sellers products. So what do we do with them? Okay, we got them. What do we do with them?
We promote them in these regions more.
Okay. So we need something like find out. I would in real life I would understand what is mean top sellers, just because it also could be in monetary term and order term, amount of pieces, and also I would something like I would limit it to, I don't know, top 10 or top something, just because in order to understand. But we haven't verified it with a business user, but I would say that find out top 10 products, it's going to be okay. Also, we should in monetary term, but in monetary term, it's quite okay. How do you think? Is it okay to find out top 10 products by monetary term, or is it not okay?
I'd put both by quantity and by money.
And how would you consider top 10? So just
Two
multiply
tops.
two tops. Top 10 by bucks and items. On the one hand, it's quite okay. On the other hand, I'm not sure that monetary term is valid in terms of top products. Just because if we consider something like general marketplace, you can have, I don't know, something really, I don't know, maybe really expensive products. Let's make iPhones, for example, but they're in item terms, they're selling not really much. That's why, and we are promoting more. I would say with promoting something, we no, maybe I'm not right. To be honest, I'm just thinking about it right now. Maybe it's not so. Okay, top 10s by items and money sounds okay. Okay, by regions. Is it going to be the top 10 from all of our products?
Yes, but you would have slicer and you would be able to find out top 10 by category. If you just click on the category, it will be filtered.
Okay. Do anyone want to add something more to dashboard call?
I would say that you also I don't know whether it is the general goal or just particular task, but you also mentioned to analyze promo activities, and maybe we would add some graphics on the efficiency of the promotions.
Yeah, it would be nice. But let's consider that they don't have such data right now, just because it have only data on orders and don't have promotion data. It sounds ridiculous, but on the other hand, it's quite often that sometimes lack of data. Okay. Something else to do to it?
Considering logistics, you mentioned the table devoted to how to say items delivered lately.
Logistics. Or extreme weight in delivery. Okay. Okay. Sounds okay. I would also, in real life situation, I maybe would, after putting all of this stuff, I maybe also will rewrite it in terms of we put down more like tasks, but maybe not the goal. And from a site, I don't know, maybe some business wise, or maybe I would consider also to write down what do you want to achieve as a company here, just because these dashboards, it's going to support these particular tasks, but it will be nice to understand how do it contribute to final P&L. So, okay, so I think it's okay. Let's discuss what metrics and dimensions we should include in the dashboard.
The percent of delivery time of the delivery time more than 3.2 days.
Starts at this complex one. Okay, analyst like complex metric. Percent of delivery. Okay, which next one?
Monetary sales.
Okay. Sales. Okay.
Orders delivered late.
Orders delivered late. It's the first one. I mean, share of delivery. Yes.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. What else?
Now we are talking only about the metrics or also about dimensions and data sources?
Dimensions is okay. much is okay. Yeah, let's
Okay,
create another.
if we speak about dimensions, it's region, category, and the granularity needed is SKU.
Okay, SKU name. No, it's in data. This was called model. Okay, categories. Okay.
I'm talking about category. I would also say that we're talking about how product hierarchy.
Yeah. It's categories hierarchy.
And also daily data, I'd say it should be.
Yeah. By the way, we have 2 dates here. Don't mess with it just because we have order date. And we also have delivery date. And it's always a mess when you have two dates in a dashboard. It's always a problem how to deal with them, just because if you have a filter, is it going to filter delivery dates or order date? Are you going to show orders on a delivery date, on a order dates? Always a mess. Okay.
Is optional. We can add stock data. It's just information.
Okay, stock data. Stocks.
Maybe stocks or out of stock events. I don't know.
Okay. Anything else?
And about data sources, guys, please add to me. I'm not sure about what I'm talking. About data sources, of course, it's orders data and some master data, I'd say.
Let's just order dates, something. No, so in real life situation, we would consider the precise name of tables in our database. Now we can just say orders. It's going to be a huge plain table. So, okay. Anything to add? Especially metrics, to be honest. Especially considering this one is optional.
Maybe we need to divide them. Say like we need a total of sales for month, for week, day, and so on.
Yeah, it's okay. We have just order date, and it means that we can combine it whenever we want. We can add, I don't know, for example, we call week is a metric, but usually it's also considered not a metric, but some product of metrics. So it's okay not to mention them. We have equal week of sales, we have equal week of orders, and so on. So I would place it here. No, I mean you can place it, but it's not necessary in my opinion. Okay, move on. So the next step is the most crucial one. Now we shall create exact questions that are going to be considered with business users. We almost did it when we described dashboard goal, but maybe we will find out something more. Let's do it. Let's create these questions. And the question should be placed and created preferably in most in importance order. So the first one is going to be the most important, and so on. So like a hierarchy of questions.
Did the sales decreased more than 20%?
Okay.
Maybe we can say like dynamic of the sales or something like that, and orders on different categories.
It's two questions. We can ask two questions. Okay. Just because, for example, for each question, we are going to provide a visual on the dashboard. That's why I would make it quite granular, just because. Okay. More than 20%. So you also mentioned dynamics. So how would you place it in a form question?
Sorry, can you repeat the question? It was.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I see. So you mentioned dynamics. How would you place it in a form of question?
So I think we just can say what is dynamics for sales in the framework of, I don't know, 2 months or something like that.
Okay. So sales for last 2 months. Okay. Next one. Yes.
And the same pair of questions for delivery. Did delivery in average drop lower than 3.2 days? And
okay.
Maybe, yeah, how long on average takes to complete delivery of the product?
Okay. Did delivery increase? And by the way, you haven't mentioned this metric. It's just delivery time, and I was not surprised, but I wanted to mention for you that it's a good idea not only have what's the share, it's complex metrics, share of orders, blah blah blah, but just what's the average time, what's the average delivery time. Questions could be quite easy one. Just we need this information. What would be the average delivery time? Okay.
Maybe we can create some hierarchy of top sellers according to the different categories in the orders. As far as I remember, in the table was something about beauty, about fonts and all technologies, and so we can provide data regarding the.
Okay, nice. Yeah. Okay. Also freezing now. How would you place it in the form of question?
Maybe which products categories provide more profit, or which product categories sells more often relative to others, something like that.
Well, we have discussed with you that you can't just place it top of them, just find out. It's just almost an informal question. What is the top? Oh my gosh, what's going on with my laptop? It's freezing even when I'm typing. It's really strange. Okay, what is the top 10 items and products? Okay.
Maybe because we were also speaking about suppliers, provide some analytics of quantity of suppliers and their like average supply of goods in terms of how to say it, average volume of the goods which which they supply for us, or something like that.
But I didn't get you.
I mean, we were speaking about suppliers during the interview, and
okay,
yeah, is it a good idea to place some statistics about suppliers? How many we have? What is the average amount of goods they supply? What is the average what is the average of sum of price of goods in terms of money and all that stuff?
What is the okay? What's more? Interesting.
I guess we can add the info about regions, something like what are the top sellers, region sellers.
Okay, top regions. I see. Okay. Okay.
Maybe we can also add something related to the question, what is the top 10 items sold product by what? By price, by amount of customers, number of customers?
Sorry, could you repeat?
Maybe we can add something related to the question, what is the top 10 items sold product? For instance, adding by price, by number of customers, something like that.
I mean, we can understand what's the average item sold per customer. Just,
no, I mean that we have the top 10 items sold product by price, right?
We haven't discussed it, but let's do it.
By price or by clients
by price. By clients, okay. And numbers. The point is that I think in marketplace it's usually one item sold to one client, so you almost always have. But it's not really true in terms of some goods. Yeah, it's okay idea to have.
No, I mean totally. For instance, one item was bought by 10 people, the other item was bought by 20 people, something like that.
But usually it's going to be the same as the item amount, just because.
Maybe not.
In most categories, one item is sold to one person. Just usually this works this way. But sometimes people are buying here something like, I don't know, Pampers or something like that. They are bought in a bulk here. Okay.
Maybe we can add something related to regions, like delivery countries or delivery regions, in order to somehow figure out the logistics schema, optimize the
Okay. What are the delivery regions? Okay. It's funny way that just because let's stop this for now. I think it's going to be enough. The funny way that you are starting to dig in even more questions that we listed in the goal of the dashboard, and it's also quite maybe not a mistake, but something like analysts tend to do so. They try to also, not only business users, try to add anything they can have, but also analysts like to do so. Okay, so for each question, we should consider any visualization. So let's do it. What type of visualization would you consider? We have such type of visualization. It's KPIs and Spark lines. KPIs is just the biggest numbers with something maybe week or week. A change in time, just something like line charts, comparison. It's about bar charts, part of wall. It's pie charts and tree maps, tables, and some other type of graphs that maybe not so. Maybe not. Oh my gosh, it's not so sorry. Okay, so maybe outline program doesn't matter. So I think you all know all types of them. So let's consider what types of graphs would you consider to using for these questions. Did sales decrease more than 20% week over week? What type of charts would you use?
Actually, can I add something regarding the interface? We mentioned that we didn't really ask the client, but probably we should state what interface should we use, like web, admin panel, mobile, or something like that. And also maybe we can think of detailed tables, reports, and think of how they can be arranged.
Yeah, I mentioned
and
that
where
you
can
have.
we use it?
Yeah, I mentioned you have dig in the context. Let's consider for now that it's just a Tableau, or don't know, data lens, and it's just a desktop web. No, web. They're using it on desktop in a web view.
And where can we specify this information here?
It's in a context based, so
Okay.
so every day
Mhm.
on a mobile phone, or for example, one during the meetings on a huge screen. So it's going to be here. Yeah, usually company has almost one or two BI tools, so we can clarify the BI tool, but usually it's just the one you're using on a daily basis. But the mobile phone zone, you can clarify it here. Okay, let's move on just because we have only 8 minutes left. Let's decide on a database type. Did sales decrease more than 20%? What would you think about what would be good visualization for that?
A KPI card, I think.
Yeah, I think also so. Just to be honest, keep it simple. Usually KPI card is okay, just because you can just place it somewhere. Just a second. Okay, let's do the KPI card. Do we want to use just a separate KPI card, or we'll combine it with a Sparkline?
I think we can combine.
Okay, I think then we can use something like that. Okay, what next?
Maybe no, I wouldn't tell that we can combine it because the Sparkline, I suggest it shouldn't be Sparkline, it should be that column chart with the split by regions or categories. I don't know.
Split by region categories, it sounds really complex, and it's not like let's consider that I'm a regional manager and I just opened my region, so there is no need to split in regions in the very beginning. I mean, if we are using general manager, yeah, we can consider it. But in the just select my region, just want to see whenever what is the sales, what is the dynamics. Okay, it's KPI card. Anyway, it's KPI card for this sale decreased. It's a really particular question, and I would just highlight it in red. For example, it happens, something like that. And usually in KPI cards, you have also something like this week or month or once approach. You leave it like that. So, so I think these two questions is quite okay with some KPI and some graphs. We are not considering, I don't know, any Sparkline. Okay, what's the average delivery time and what's the dynamics of it? What type of dataization would you consider?
The same.
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
the same, or we can use to, like, for some diversity, we can use bar charts maybe. For that.
The point of diversity, I'm not a big fan of it in terms of business-wise, just because in our business environment, we're going to use mostly bar charts and line charts, something like that. So I would just go with the same. It's okay. It's okay to go with the same, in my opinion. Yeah. Did delivery time increased more than 3.2 days? I would say that they also can just highlight it on our graph. But if we want to make it even more, maybe more visible or maybe more alerting, we can use the separate KPI card on that, just in order to show it. But can leave it like that as well. So, what is the top 10 items sold by product? What you consider for this one?
Bar chart.
We have three metrics here: by price, by items, by customers. How do we deal it in bar chart? I mean, bar chart is okay, but we have three metrics. It's going to be three bar charts. It's going to do something else. What would you say?
So we can use bar charts also. We can use combine line charts when we place several lines. Also, I guess it is possible to use how to say it. Sorry. That table when we map chart, as far as I remember, to compare the amount of goods sold.
Okay, I would go with I would go with such table. I'm really big fan of these tables, just because if you have any dimension, it doesn't matter whether it's I don't know, it's top 10, top regions, top something, and you have different metrics. It's okay to use some kind of a table by bar chart. On the other hand, it's a table. On the other hand, it's a bar chart, and it's really good for a factorial analysis, just because you can see all the metrics. So, for example, we have three metrics, we have three bar charts, and they work well. Okay, tapped on items. Okay, how many suppliers we have? Territory, what is the average sales of the goods, etc. What do you think? What shall we use for that list?
So probably it is the same with the bar charts. And
yeah, I would also say so. Yeah, it sounds okay. What is the top regions by sales?
Again, bar chart.
Yeah. Horizontal bar chart.
Yeah. It's sometimes it's boring to do business dashboards just because they are bar charts mostly, but it's okay. You shouldn't be, I don't know, embarrassed or something like that about it, and it's okay to use a lot of bar charts. Okay, what are the delivery regions? Where do we deliver from my region that I am managing?
But we can again use horizontal bar chart.
It's okay. It's okay. It's I would say safe choice, but also it's one of it's one of the good place to use maps. Usually maps are not really important, just because usually we don't have a lot of special data, geographical data that would influence our sales and so on. But if you have something like where it comes from, it's a good idea to use a map, just because maybe we are delivering something strange stuff. I don't know, from Yakutia to Moscow or vice versa, something like that. So map would be nice to see. But also I also place a bar chart as well, just because on a map it's easier to see where to go. but on a bar chart, it's easier how much is going there. So I would consider something combining them together. So just place a map and a bar chart on the side. Okay, we have our visuals. I think, unfortunately, we don't have time to build them in a canvas, but mostly now when you have all of the metrics on all of the dashboards, you just place them on a wireframe, and you do it the way you just place the most important one in the very left hand and upper side of the dashboard, and the less important one in beneath them. And so also just give me a sec, I'll find my solution for this business task. Just a sec. And also, I don't know, I needed to hear on the one hand some feedback on the session. On the other hand, just also wanted to mention that during this time we were creating questions, you, I would say, do it in an analytical way. You wanted to consider more things than a business user asked for, and you didn't into business user problem as deep as I would expect, just because it would be nice, it really would be nice to maybe to see what's going on with the top categories, just because you have decided that we need just the top categories among all of the products. But I would say that they need them mostly in terms of different categories. And if you would dig in, you would understand that they're comparing firstly categories, after categories, like comparing products inside them. Just a sec, I need to make some magic with I think. So while I'm looking for a dashboard, do you guys find it useful, this session? What your insights, maybe what would you consider to using in a real life situation? I am not asking you for, I don't know, to say, oh, it was cool, it's cool, but I'm asking you, do you really relate yourself to that? Can you expect that it would be useful for you? So
yeah, thanks. Personally, me, I just liked the canvas. It was useful and very good visualized.
okay.
Maybe I would say that, like, overall roadmap for the creating of the dashboard provide some like insights and clear structure for such tasks.
I would also say that it is very useful, but not really sure how to implement these all really good tactics. I like it in the real life, in operations, when we just sometimes don't have time to draw these mockups, to draw these tables. Sometimes we have to just talk to a stakeholder and build a dashboard.
Sometimes, you know, it's on one hand, I understand you what you're saying, but sometimes it's a hidden, I would say, problems and hidden time. Then you start to do it and doing in a way, just do it. But sometimes it's not so, I would say, you think that you do it in a more quick way, but when you happen to rebuild it much more times, it happens that maybe it was easier to spend some time to prepare. Like it's quite famous quote is, if you fail to prepare, you prepare to fail. So something like that. You know, I can't find my dashboard.
I have a comment here about mockups. when in my experience, I built dashboards without canvas and mockups, and I have experience with building dashboards with mockups, and I see that with mockups I have much less time creating dashboard because you already know the structure and you don't need to think what the data is about and how you want it to look like. So it is really quicker.
Sounds reasonable. Yeah.
Sorry, guys, I can't find the dashboard now. Right now, I'll send Marie the link, and you just can find it. So, by the way, as far as you know, you are going to learn some stuff about Tableau and Data Lens coming weeks. So just also wanted to advertise a bit, maybe our course on Data Lens Basics. If you would like this tool, we have a free to off-charge Data Lens educational course, so you can use it, and it's quite cheap one. So if you are going to use this tool in real life, I would consider to do it. And by the way, just the Data Lens, it's for sure maybe not so flexible as Tableau and not so mature as a Tableau, but nevertheless, it's quite cool tool. You can use it, and I don't know, it has a lot of abilities, interactivities, and such stuff. So we would be welcome if you can use one. So if you find it. So that's it from my side. I don't know, guys, if you have. So yes, stop advertising. If you have any questions, regardless of today's session or any other questions, just any question, I'm eager to answer them. If you don't have, I'm okay to let you continue your education. So,
could you please share with us all the links that and all the materials we have today?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Thank you.
But generally, it's the mirror board I sent you already. So yeah, I'll also bring you some links, useful links.
Maybe could you say, please, how much time it takes to know Data Lens and to be able to create some fancy and cool dashboards?
It's not possible to create fancy dashboard on Data Lens, unfortunately. I mean, just because it's not so flexible as Tableau, for example. If you have experience with working with Tableau, it's going to be like, I don't know, a couple of hours to start with, just because it has almost it's similar structure approach. It's a bit more like Power BI in terms of creating visualization, just because in Tableau you are working with visual marks and you're building visualization from that. But in Power BI and Data Lens and almost all other tools, you are selecting the type of a chart you'd like to create, and after that you are dragging the fields into the plane. So the approach is the same. It's much more easier than, I don't know, Superset or something like Metabase. So it's user-friendly and it looks like Tableau. So if you have experience with Tableau, you're going to have it. If you don't have any experience with BI tool, I would consider it's a couple of days to start with, and maybe, and I don't know, half a year to master it. So something like that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I hope it was fun. Sorry for technical issues. I don't know what's going on with my laptop, and unfortunately, I can't change it right now. So, yeah, love DataVis, please. It was fun to hold this session. So, Marie, thank you for the invitation. Guys, thank you for participation.
Thank
And
you for your coming.
Yeah, see you in the field of data analytics. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys. Before we go on a break, please stay here for a while. I have something to tell you. And Roman, I say goodbye to you.
Okay, I'll make you host.
Okay.
Just because Okay. Yeah, bye guys, see you.